Do you have a sauce? And if not, you should get one so we can put it on our tacos, man. Nolan from the Bike Sauce. Thanks for letting me have you on the page here.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for inviting me. Happy to do it.
Now, Nolan, Nolan, what is your last name?
Tsuchiya. It's a hard one. Yeah, it's a silent.
Tsuchiya.
Well, it's not a silent T. If you say tsunami spelled with a T. So this is the same character, I think. But Tsuchiya, not tsunami. So.
Tsuchiya. I was trying to work on that, and I didn't want to mess up your last name like mine.
Been dealing with it my whole life. It's not a big deal.
So have I, with a name like Uzeric.
Uzeric.
Yeah, gotcha. Nobody knows. That's why I just skipped it and went to you.
Johnny U.
Johnny U. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So talk to me about a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where do you live? What's going on?
Sure. Well, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I have a day job, family, 2 kids. I live in, Southern California, a city called Whittier. I teach. I'm a professor of mechanical engineering at Cal Poly University in Pomona, California. That's my day job, which, not a lot of people know. And 2 little kids, 3 and 6. Well, 6 actually this weekend. So 3 and 5 right now.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Well, thank you on his behalf. And yeah. So the channel, the YouTube channel is relatively new. I only started it, I think it was August of 2020, which was my first. God, I almost wanted to take the video down, but I keep it there kind of as a reminder of, it's just like you can measure your progress visually if you see how bad the early videos were.
Was that created out of the chaos of COVID? You were like, I got to do something. I can't teach. Or
in retrospect, totally. Yeah. I mean, for the longest time I'd been on the fence. Oh, do I want to start a channel? Do I have anything interesting to say? There's so many good bike channels out there already. What could I possibly add, kind of thing? And I think it was like COVID and sort of the stir craziness and the cabin fever that said, I need some kind of outlet. So one day I just said, all right, I'm going to do it. Today's the day. I'm going to just start it.
And I love your first video. It's funny that you bring it up because I want to mention it. Your first video is like everyone's first video. To watch your videos now, if someone could go back and watch, you need to go back and watch this first one.
Please
You're
don't.
just in a garage. Tell me about that. You're like breaking out like wheels.
It was a wheel review because I was excited because I bought my first nice set of carbon wheels for the new bike. And I was like, all right, this is going to be the thing. This is where I'll do a video. This kind of unboxing. Totally wung it. I had no form, no format. Lighting was awful. The audio, I think, is even off.
It looked like also you were looking off to the side reading a cue card, were you?
I wasn't. So what I had done is I had 2 cameras. I thought I was going to be I'm going to be the first YouTuber that ever does it right. So I got 2 cameras. I'm going to get 2 angles. It's going to be awesome. I'll be able to edit. And it turns out that the first camera was never on. So the camera that I was looking at the whole time was not doing anything.
Classic.
It was just GoPro from the side. And a reasonable person would say, all right, let's scratch this one and let's start over and let's put out a better one. And I was like, oh, it's probably good enough. I just put it up.
Yeah. You were like, anyways. Yes, and the wheels are.
Oh yeah, it was so bad.
But I think it's great that you keep it up there just so you can go, look at me now.
Not look at me now. It's
okay.
It's more
look where I came from. It's how it all started.
It's more for my own personal use, not for anybody else to say, oh, look at my progress. It's more like, all right, if I ever need a reminder of sometimes you get stuck
Yeah.
in a rut. You're like, oh, what am I going to do this week? And this is no good. This is not as good as some of the other videos. At least I can go back to my personal first video and say, well,
Yeah.
it's actually come, it's come a long way.
Oh no, I think it's great to be a fan of yours and to watch that progress. Whatever, whatever it means. So tell me about where you live. It seems like you guys breed mountain biking YouTubers over there on the West Coast.
Well, there's certainly a large cycling scene, mountain biking, gravel, road, or otherwise. There's just a lot of density in Southern California. So any type of discipline, you're going to have a community, I think, of cyclists in that discipline. And so there's a lot of pretty decent biking locally around
Yeah.
here, mountain biking specifically. So you get a lot of the YouTubers coming up, whether it's a vlog style, like MTV Allen is one of the local ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Outsider, he's actually from, Tony, I think I never rode with him, but I've seen him on the trail a bunch of times. So yeah, I mean, those channels are relatively new too. And I think the popularity of cycling in general, as a result of the COVID kind of thing, is just skyrocketed, which is great for
move there. I want to move there because I live in Miami.
Not a lot of elevation in Florida, yeah.
No, but there's really a lot of great technical trails here. A lot of man-made, wooden features. It's a lot of fun. But and speaking of that, I've talked to a couple mountain bike YouTubers that are from that area and Sky Park.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this. It's like a mountain biker Disneyland.
It is quite literally like a theme park, right? That's, I think, who are you talking to? Who kind of
Mountain Bike Rad Dad?
Yeah, Rad Dad, I think, gave like a pretty good rundown on what Sky Park was all about. I love it up there. It's a little bit, it's all relative. It's only an hour and maybe 90 minutes from where I live. So it's close, but it's also like you got to commit a day to it, basically. You can't
just your day.
You can't just like on a whim go to Sky Park and then come home. Or maybe you can, but you certainly can't do it if you have like, a 3 and a 5-year-old at home that need attention. So the days that I go to Sky Park are planned, weeks in advance because I got to coordinate with my wife.
Yeah, you got to get the permission.
But it is a lot of fun. Purely, man-made network of trails. No lifts, so you got to ride to the top every time you come down. But oddly, the way it's laid out, it's just short enough where when you start to get tired, you're like, "Oh, I'm back at the top already, and ready for another run."
I was watching a video not too long ago with that place, just because it looks like a mountain biker's dream. Is that it seems like there's a feature every 5 seconds. Like if you see someone jump something, you can count almost less than 5 and they're at another feature and then another feature.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the trail. I think Arrow, right, is probably one of the most popular trails up there. And that's just like pure flow and feature packed, right? That's the one where if you ever see the video or pictures of this sort of like sidewinder wooden feature, that's on Arrow. There's a couple of nice, tabletops, a couple of doubles, which I don't claim to be able to hit. I roll most of the jumps, but it's still fun nonetheless.
I do too. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm old enough to be your dad. So when I go, I'll ride. I ride in Jackson Hole, Wyoming a lot. And there's like these 8-foot tables. And as soon as I get to the top, break. Right over.
Are you talking about actually Jackson Bike Park?
Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah, so the ski resort.
Oh yeah, there's one in Teton Village that I ride a lot because we stay out there.
Oh yeah, so I rode that one a couple of years ago.
Oh really?
Yeah, Jackson Bike Park. They have like a adventure area where they have like a climbing area.
Yeah, the little kids can do the ropes course.
The ropes course, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
the
Yeah.
ropes course. You just take a lift up, and then
Yeah.
you don't even have to pedal. Oh,
Oh,
not
great.
having to pedal. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. Because riding down here is like doing a Peloton in the Amazon. It's nonstop pedaling. So when I see something like Sky Park, that's why I just wanted to talk about Sky Park.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Jackson is where oh, sorry. Jackson is where I first demoed the Hightower LT, and I sort of fell in love with that bike and subsequently bought one before the shortage. And so that's been my main mountain bike is the Hightower LT, which I love. I mean, it's like this was the first time I had bought a brand new bike since my 2003 Giant AC2. So like, 15 years of in bike years, that's like an eternity, right?
oh yeah, no, I just bought a new one out of COVID after 10 years of having a specialized rock hopper.
Yeah.
I don't need all that. I don't need a squishy bike down here. There's no A line here.
Yeah, right.
So, but then when COVID hit, there's no bikes. And I had no idea. I got to the point where my bike it was 10 years old, and I had to get rid of it. And I went into a bike shop and I'm like, where are the bikes? Like literally, there were like kids' bikes. That was it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, rough time.
So bike sauce came up out of COVID and boredom. And you do mountain biking.
Yeah. Originally, well,
You're an avid mountain biker.
Yeah, definitely. I would say avid.
Because I watched you doing some luge.
Luge, yeah. That's a fun trail.
I gotta bring this up. You cracked me up. You were like in the middle of the ride, you were like, I just choked on my own spit.
I'm, it's all about bringing that candid element.
I love it. You're in the moment with it.
It makes it a little more real. Yeah.
What I want to talk to you about is something I have no idea about being down here is what's a gravel bike?
Yep.
I'm seriously like, this is new to me, and I know it's starting to pick up some steam because I see more and more of gravel bikes. What got you into this thing?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good question. Well, I suppose I could. Okay. So my experience with cycling spans. Like I was a kid. I got into BMX biking. That's what I'm going to go to X Games. That's my life goal. I'm going to be the next, who am I thinking? I can't think of a name. Dave Mirra.
You're thinking of Dave Mirra.
So yeah. So I got into BMX. That was my thing. And then high school, I was working at a bike shop. Wow, mountain bikes are cool. So I had to then I'm going to be a mountain biker. Rode mountain bikes forever. And then got out of college. And then, my friends started getting into road cycling. I'm like, dude, all right, I'll try. I'm never, ever going to wear spandex. That's where I draw the line. And then somehow now I can't ride unless I'm in like full bib.
You got to wear bib.
Yeah. So I did road for a while. And then, I saw these gravel bikes start to pop up, and I was like, what's this all about? I was pretty much like everybody else, skeptical. I think is the right word. Like, what is this? This is just a road bike with big wheels. This is just like another subdivision of cycling for manufacturers to charge us more money. That's kind of generally what most people think when they first see it.
Yeah.
But then you get into the intricacies. You look at frame geometries. You look at, of course, you look at tire clearances. You look at features of the frames. So, you got road and endurance road bikes, very traditional geometries, kind of upright, very nimble, twitchy is kind of a negative word, but it's a nimble, like fast steering. Going down steep descents, you get a little bit. I always got a little bit tense going at real
Yeah.
high speeds on the road. You start to relax the geometry. The head angle comes a little more slack,
Slack.
so
Yeah.
to speak. Chain stays can get a little bit longer. Tires get a little bit wider, and at some point, right? It's incremental. That's why there's such a gray area here. But at some point, you got like a different bike, right? So it's no longer just a road bike with wide tires, because it's also got slacker geometry and different rear end geometry and just different handling characteristics.
It's a little something in between the two.
Yeah, yeah. And what's crazy, and it doesn't surprise me because it is a cycling industry. What doesn't surprise me is that now, even within gravel bikes, now there's a lot of subdivision going on. Are you a performance oriented gravel racer?
Wow.
Or are you a like party pace, kind of chill, relaxed kind of rider? And there's bikes for everybody in that subdivision as well.
Where do you fit?
Oh, I can't. This is a hard question. I don't race, first of all.
You don't race.
I'm definitely not on that end of the spectrum.
You do it for you. You do it for your own sanity.
So here's the thing about it's such a contradiction, because I'm not fast. I don't race, but I also can't accept like subpar stuff. Like I kind of like I appreciate nice, high quality, lightweight stuff for the sake of having it. Like I enjoy it, but I'm not like using it to like go faster, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I get you totally. I got a friend that always wants me to time, when we ride, I'm like, I'm doing it. For me, it's like a challenge for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's something personal.
Yeah.
What I like about you talking about these things too is that I can hear the mechanical engineer in you.
That's an inevitable part of my channel. It always makes its way in there somehow. I try to pull back and not over technify things. That's not a word, but the audience is different. Like when I teach in front of my class, sure, all in, you got to go 100% engineering.
Gotta learn.
That's my job, is to teach engineering to students. I'm not trying to become like a Peak Torque or a Hambini, right? I don't want my channel to be all about the technical aspects of cycling. So this is my outlet.
Yeah.
For doing stuff that's not always technical, but sometimes it makes its way in there.
How is and I noticed this, there's a shock on a gravel bike?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the crazy part, right?
Like, because I'm looking at your bike behind you right now, and I don't see the on the fork.
It's in the headset. Yeah, it's in the little little cartridge called the Future Shock, which I have a whole series of videos about, because it's a very complicated, in my opinion, kind of over-engineered system. And I'm kind of on the fence about it. I've got a video brewing about the Future Shock and just sort of a long-term review, but it's very complicated. But at the same time, I kind of like it. Like I ride a bike that's fully rigid now, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of harsh. I kind of want that Future Shock back. But yeah, it's kind of like the old school. Actually, it's not. I was going to say the Cannondale head shock, where it's just like, it wasn't two stanchions that sprung, it was just one spring.
Right there in the stem.
Crown, yeah. This is the Future Shock is like that, but on the top side of the head too.
Oh, okay.
Very similar.
What now? Where do you ride these gravel? Gravel. I mean, can you street ride them? Are they fine for the street too? Or are they just, if you don't go on gravel, you'll get a ticket?
They'll find you and confiscate your bike if they catch you riding a gravel bike on the pavement. No, they're fine on the road. I do all my road rides. I only have the one drop bar bike essentially, so I do road rides on it. Put some slick tires on it. and just accept the fact that you're not going to be as quick or nimble as like a pure roadie. You
Really?
sacrifice a little bit of speed and efficiency, but in return, you get a bike that you can ride literally anywhere. Like I've taken the gravel bike here. There's nothing behind
Well,
me. I'm
fair.
taking this Diverge on my local mountain bike loop. It's called the Fullerton Loop. I've done that several times.
Really?
And 95% of riders on the Fullerton Loop are in mountain bikes, full suspension, enduro bikes, and it really doesn't call for that. It's a different experience, right? You now have to be a little bit careful about your line. You're going to go faster uphill, but not quite as fast downhill. It's just a different challenge.
What kind of tires are we looking at there? What the width? Are they 29ers or 2x5s, 2.5s?
Well, okay. So when you go to the road bike end of things, you're talking about 700C versus 650B.
I forget that.
Yeah. Which is so stupid, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's 29 versus 27.5. So these are 700C Hunt carbon wheels that I always ride. They were the subject of my very first video.
Yeah. Oh, so you've got the ones on your first video on that bike now?
Yeah, those are my primary everyday kind of ride wheel set.
And now you shift like this, right? I'm road bike and gravel bike is so alien to me.
Yes, they're these things, right?
I feel you right where that brake is.
Yeah, those are a combination brake and shifter, often referred to as brifter. It's kind of a funny name.
Yes.
You brake, pulling the lever in, fore and aft, and then you shift, pushing the two individual sub levers laterally. But everything else, technology, conceptually, no, conceptually is not the right word. All the components are the same, right? You got, derailleur, chain, everything's the same. You know that everything's the same on a road bike, gravel bike, and mountain bike. It's just they're just configured differently.
You get a little bit more slack. You've got a grippier tire. It's a road bike with some attitude.
Yeah, it's a road bike with the little stank on it.
Little stank. So now the bike sauce, you like to say you're just an average rider.
That's my thing. Yeah, that's my shtick.
And you're kind of like a bike nerd.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah. Is
it now the whole bike nerd thing? You're a professor of mechanical engineering.
Yes.
Right. So I guess it's okay to get something like that going on there.
Hey,
bike nerd. Don't you call yourself a nerd? Not in front of me, mister. Not on my watch.
That's
just because I got the sticker.
That's great.
No, that's when
yeah.
Well, no, when we first we were going to hook up and it kind of failed for reasons.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to collect from the people that I want to. So back to the nerd thing. That's neither here nor there. Back to the nerd thing. You do this thing on the torque wrench. And the Newton meters, and you love your Newton meters.
Yeah. Newton was a good guy.
But what I wanted to get to is because of that, and you do appreciate your Newton meter, is what would you suggest to people who are just getting into this cycling thing, or have during COVID started watching this stuff and was like, I want to get in, and they just start wrenching.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important that people take notice of something as simple as a Newton meter? Like, what's your pet peeve? Like, I hear you talk about that a lot in your stuff. It's just like, don't caveman stuff.
Yeah. Did I say caveman before? Yeah, you
don't want to. If it's caveman, maybe I'm throwing it out there, but yeah,
I think I for sure said you don't want to. This stuff, maybe on a recent build video, said yeah, this is not something you want to caveman. I was a shop mechanic for a number of years, and this was right around 2000 Ooh, long time ago.
Ooh.
Yeah, long time ago, huh? Shot mechanic. I think I was maybe 6 years in total, or seven maybe, that I was between full-time and part-time shop mechanic.
Mhm.
And it was interesting to watch the transition because old bikes, old steel bikes, you could crank down as hard as you want and nothing would ever break.
Yeah.
And then you get, lightweight carbon, engineered aluminum, just everything's lightweight and fully designed, actually engineered components now. If you over tighten those, you break an expensive part. Now you got to pay for a new one,
Yeah.
or worse, now you got to wait till they're even available because parts aren't even available right now. So I guess my take on it is just, not everyone's going to use a torque wrench. And for those who don't, just take it easy. Don't damage your stuff.
Take it easy. Because do you think people? Because I like to think that people are just getting into this would watch guy with
As they should, yeah, as they should. Sure.
58 subscribers so far. Mine's
Hey,
just been a month. I'll get there hopefully. But like I think your channel is so, and I'm not blowing up, just because I'm with you right now. It's such a great channel for learning and me. I just bought a Rockhopper Elite, and that's how I found you. Is you were changing out. I want to change out my bottom bracket and go hollow tech and stuff. You know, talk to me about. It's late here. It's been a long day. Talk to, talk to me about what people should know when first buying a bike, and what are what they should expect in upgrades. It took me a while to get there, but I got there, mister.
that's a loaded question. I'm at the tail end of a. I've been teaching. I've been talking nonstop since like 10 a.m. It's like 7 straight hours. So I'm already fried. This
Yeah.
is probably a bad time actually to do this interview. Yeah, I'm
Sorry.
fried. Okay, so it depends. It depends on who you're talking to. If it's an absolute beginner who just wants to get into mountain biking, it's tough. Like, I'm inclined to say, well, what kind of riding do you want to do? Where do you want to ride? What is your plan for the future in terms of upgradability? Those are the things that I would ask, like, not a novice, like somebody who's been riding for a while and who maybe wants to get their next bike.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, all right, well, what do you like about riding? Where do you generally ride? Where do you want to ride? What, are you super aggressive, super hard on your stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to eventually upgrade this bike? And then we could go from there. For an absolute beginner, all right, two answers. Is the first one's a cop out. The absolute beginner, get whatever you can get because there's not a ton out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And get used. Buy something used because you might not, it's an experiment, but it could be a very expensive.
Oh, it's an expensive experiment.
Mistake. Yeah. That's the cop out answer. And I'm obviously stalling for time, so I'm formulating the real answer.
Working it in.
For an absolute novice who's just getting into cycling, I would say kind of start backward from the ride experience that you think you're going to have. Like, are you going to start biking because you're determined to get to Red Bull Rampage and, ride downhill, basically downhill courses like that? Or are you getting into it for pure exercise? And those types of answers are obviously going to drive like what type of bike you should purchase. For most, sorry, you can stop me at any point. If you
No, I'm feeling you, man.
For most, most novice riders are going to say, "Oh, I just want to get out, get some exercise, ride some trails, get out in nature." Okay, so for those people, and actually get into some real like substance here, for those people, I would say start with a very basic hardtail front suspension mountain bike.
Yeah.
Don't get bogged down in, oh, is it 2x or 1x, and how much travel does it have? Because if you're just a beginner, none of that matters. you're not going to be able to tease out the difference between, two sort of microscopic differences that people, they kind of blow them out of proportion on the forums. So if you start doing your research, you'll probably end up talking yourself out of getting into it at all. My advice is
start looking at prices.
Yeah, get something you can afford, maybe with the front shock on it. Hardtail, you don't need full suspension for your first bike. A lot of good online retailers actually for that purpose. If you don't, if you have to have a Specialized or a hard, Santa Cruz or whatever, that's one thing. But if you're open to other brands, there are so many kind of direct to consumer brands that they'll mail you a bike and you just put it together with, it's very easy to put together a bike from the box and you'll be out riding the next day. So
you just transitioned into my next question that I wanted to ask you. And it's about a bike that I think was born out of COVID. And then I've looked a lot out of is the Polygon Siskiyou. And you got a chance to ride one. Talk to me about that. Is it, you know what I mean? Is it something?
Polygon is not a company that was born out of COVID. Polygon's been around actually for a very long time.
Oh, really? I thought. Well,
and the only reason I'm not trying to what do the kids say? Flex. I only know this because I just did the Polygon Siskiyou D5 review, and I wanted to make sure I did my due diligence and research so that I didn't sound like a moron. They're a huge company.
Yeah.
And their kind of unique advantage is that they own their own manufacturing facilities. So, they manufacture bikes for other companies.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, am I saying all this right? Yeah, I think so. And so they essentially they wanted a piece of the pie. So they came out with Polygon bikes, which is a worldwide, they sell to everyone in the world.
Yeah.
And then it's bikesonline.com that kind of has a somewhat exclusive partnership with them. And so Bikes Online is really the only place in America where you can buy a Polygon.
Yeah.
Is through that, that online interface. The bikes are solid. I mean, shoot, it's incredible. If you look at the website, the prices that they can sell you a bike for, it almost feels too good to be true. And, I probably would have believed that it was too good to be true and kind of written them off if I hadn't actually ridden my friends that he bought.
Yeah.
I actually spoke with, I think it's a marketing manager from Polygon recently, because we're going to do a little bit of a collaboration here soon. But he gave me a lot of information about, their company in the background and, what they're providing to in the way of sort of a mass-produced bike geared at more entry-level riders. And the Siskiyou itself is sort of right now it's probably one of their best-selling bikes because it is a bike that can do, it can do it all. It can almost go anywhere.
I see a lot of them, and people talk about like the bang for your buck. I hear the sizing's a little weird.
Sizing's a little, well, I don't know if the sizing's
like, I'm a large bike, but at 6'1", I heard it would be like an extra large in a Polygon.
Yeah, I think you do. You want to look at the geometry charts before you buy a Polygon. Just compare the numbers, don't compare the letters. You know what I mean? But they can sell bikes for a lot less because they've essentially removed the middleman, right? They manufacture and do distribution under the same roof. So,
but you enjoyed riding it.
I enjoyed it, surprisingly. I mean, it was very much a departure from the Hightower, which is a mid to long travel 29er. The Siskiyou D5 is a short travel 27 5er.
So
5. But I had a lot of fun on it.
I've just been wanting to talk to somebody who's ridden one of them because I've seen so many things about them, and when I was looking to buy a bike, I'm still maybe one of these days I'll get a full suspension. But again, I live in South Florida. No need for it.
Well, yeah, you got, well, once you learn how to jump, that's when you'll want that.
Yeah, it's also the pocketbook,
yeah.
wallet.
Yeah.
Where was I going? Again, I've been talking a lot. I work in the news business, so we've been doing a lot of bike sauce. Is that, have you, and take this if you will, I don't want any percentage from the sales. Do you have a sauce? And if not, you should get one so we can put it on our tacos, man.
I don't. Look, I'll be honest. I don't. I'm always what is weird, like strangely egotistical thing. What goes through my head is, what if somebody asks me, what does bike sauce mean?
I was about to.
Yeah, and I ask this question to myself all the time, and I don't have an answer. It's like Google, right? What does it mean? It's meaningless. The best I could, yeah.
Oh no, I was going to ask you, how did you come up with it then?
I don't know. It just like hit me in the shower. I was like, oh, what am I going to name my channel? I'll take you through my thought process. My thought process was, I don't want to pigeonhole myself into a specific niche, which first of all is a big mistake, because I think the channels that do generally channels that kind of niche down into a specific sort of genre do better. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then you got, channels like Clint Gibbs. Have you seen Clint Gibbs's stuff? He's just like he does a little bit of everything. He rides gravel, he rides mountain, he rides cross country. He does how-to videos, he does unboxing videos. And he's not restricted to any one specific thing. He's not just how-tos, he's not just, unboxing. And his channel name is just his name, and he's doing really well. So I wanted that, but I didn't want my name because it's too hard to pronounce. So I'm thinking of the show. I'm thinking, all right, it's got to have the word bike in it, because for SEO purposes, it's got to be searchable.
It's a bike thing,
and it's got to somehow represent sort of this melting pot or amalgamation of different elements. And I'm like, oh, soup. Soup is like, I think I probably just had soup that night. It's perfect because soup is like this mix. It's just like this combination of ingredients.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
In something that's like bigger than its constituent parts. And I looked it up, bike soup, and I'm like, damn it, someone has that already.
Why? No. Are they any good? They're not as good as you, are they?
Well, bike soup, I don't know. I don't know if it's a channel or what. It might be a blog or something. And then I was like, all right, next best thing is a sauce, a good sauce. I'm off the rails here. I know. I'm sorry. A good sauce is like, right, an amalgamation. I'm not even sure if I'm using that word right.
No, you're using good words tonight.
Okay. Of a bunch of individual ingredients that themselves are not as good as the sum total of all of it. So bike sauce, a bunch of random, like here's a how-to, here's an unboxing video, here's an old bike restoration, but all together, it's somehow better than any one of those individual avenues. That's the best.
If you put them all together, that sauce is so good.
You get the
that's what it is. And look at but I'm saying, if you get a hot sauce, that is a beautiful.
Yeah.
Who came up with that? You put that on a hot sauce bottle?
Yeah.
Again, I want no proceeds from the sale of this hot sauce or that.
Like, yeah. Well, I'm afraid Park Tool might come after me for that one, but the channel was so small when I came up with that.
I take that down.
No, it's obviously a parody sticker.
Yeah.
The very popular Park Tool brand, which I love. I love all their. I'm building my Park Tool blue wall.
Yeah, tool back here. If you have two wheels and some pedals, I think you own some Park Tools.
Yeah. Right. So that's bike sauce. Not much more of it. Obviously, that's a pretty forced explanation, but
But how'd you come up with that? Is that a friend or is that you or
that was me. I had a little,
what a talent?
little inspiration to get into Adobe Illustrator, and I just started messing around.
Oh, that's
Like,
amazing.
yeah,
It's like the prettiest sticker I've ever seen. I'm not kidding.
it's funny.
The good color. Again, because I like to come up and figure out how these people come up with their names because mountain bike Q&A, it just popped into me.
That's very descriptive and it's perfect.
I'm going to ask questions about mountain biking.
There you go. Yeah.
There
That's
you go.
perfect name. You know exactly what they're doing.
What's I've seen that we've talked about the growth. What's next for you?
Great.
For the channel. Do you have any big things coming up? Or I mean, you don't have to
Great.
tell me what there are, but are you growing as a channel? You've grown and you've got the background here now that's beautiful with the purple and pink lighting or fuchsia lighting.
It's purple, it's pink. I mean, let's not get fancy.
No, it's a great setup. But
I don't have a good answer. I mean, okay, so in August of 2020, 0 subscribers. I kind of want to know who the first one was that said, okay, I'll give this guy a chance. Yeah, if you're watching, let me know. I'll set you up with something.
that's awesome.
And then, fast forward to today, October 2021. So just, a year and a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
I think last I checked, we're a little over 9,000, which is,
yeah.
I have no point of reference, but other people have told me that's pretty quick. I've seen other channels explode much faster, but I'm pleasantly surprised by that. And I think the goal is just slow and steady, right? I'm trying to make this hobby of mine into like a sustainable endeavor. I don't want to go all in with 3 videos a week and burn out in 2 years. So
Yeah,
I'm playing. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I find what I like about your channel, and I've said this to someone else that I've interviewed. I think what makes these channels work through what I've learned by watching so many during COVID is your likability.
Interesting.
There's something you talk to us. And you educate, and the way you educate, you don't talk. And I guess maybe because you're a professor, you know how to do that. You don't throw it at us. You explain each and every bit, like, because I really wanted to know how to work on my rock hopper. But I'm like, this guy he's so, and you're like the Bob Ross too. You have this velvety voice.
Oh my goodness. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. I'm sorry. But yeah, but back to your channel. What was that like when you started reaching milestones, like say your 1,000 subscribers or your 500? I know 1 is kind of exciting, but then when you hit 1,000, what's going through your head?
It's just validation. If you ask I feel like if you ask most like content creators, there's like some sense of insecurity. They need to be validated, and I'm not going to admit that I don't feel that. So when you see the numbers slowly creeping up, it's just kind of feedback that what you're doing seems to be resonating with the people who are watching your videos. And that's really all there is to it. I mean, this is not a channel that's ever going to like explode. Like, sure, this is some good, it's actually some decent supplemental income. Like, my goal actually is to get the channel to a point where it's like self-sustaining.
Yeah.
Like, but whatever I earn from the channel, just reinvest it back into the channel. So I don't have to feel so guilty about, buying new stuff for myself. And
yeah, that's the problem. People don't understand. That's what I find interesting about my YouTube is it's not a cheap sport.
Oh yeah.
And I watch these guys that have less subscribers than you just spending. And I'm like, oh my God, my channel, they're like $15 light and like a $40 microphone here.
There's no overhead.
Fine. But that's, I think that's interesting that you say that is that to sustain what you're doing just so it can pay, because you have a job.
Yes. Yeah. Fortunately, this is not, I consider it a luxury that I can do this as a hobby. And I don't, it doesn't pay the bills, so to speak. So I have a little bit more freedom in what I do, which is nice. Other creators don't have that luxury. So I recognize that and appreciate that.
I find it interesting about the validation is because, as a creator myself, it's just like, you don't do this for nobody to watch.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm surprised you're doing it with somebody like me, hoping we're going to get somebody to watch. I know your fans will hopefully watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny that we need that validation.
Yeah. It's this weird, like, nobody wants to quite admit it, but like when it's going well, everyone's like, well, yeah, I'm awesome. And then when it's not, you skip out on that part where they're kind of like, well, how can I do better?
What did I do wrong? What can I do better?
Yeah.
Exactly. Bike Sauce, I don't want to keep you from your family anymore. You've been talking for however long. I want to thank you so much.
Likewise. No, I appreciate the time. I appreciate you reaching out. Yes.
Nolan, it is a true honor and a pleasure, seriously, because I am a fan of your page. And I hope I can get some more people over to your page. And I want you to keep up the good work, because you do good work. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Well, I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Now, I get this mixed up every time because the Zoom messes me up. I'm subscribed to his page here or there. It's going to be somewhere down here.
Well, you can set where that shows up. Wait, are we talking about? You want
the subscribe button? I'm going to put it there.
Okay.
Or maybe there.
Yeah. You can put it wherever you want. You can drag it around at the end.
Go to his page. I guarantee, especially if you're into gravel biking, this guy knows more than the people who invented gravel biking. It's very educational.
I know about as much as the average cyclist. Yes, we'll put it that way.
Stop it and go and get some of these stickers, man. Look how pretty they are. Thank you so much, Nolan.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Right on.